When someone reaches the pinnacle of basketball glory on this planet at the age of 22, could they have foreseen that the next decade would be a round trip to hell? On an ordinary playoff night in 2012, the cheers at the United Center froze in an instant, and the once omnipotent figure fell to the floor in agony. That crisp cracking sound tore not only his cruciate ligament, but also the entire city of Chicago's golden dream of dynasty revival. Derrick Rose, a name once synonymous with explosive athleticism and fearless courage, was from that moment pushed by fate into a decade of self-doubt and redemption. Tonight, accompanied by the flickering firelight and this gentle story, let us walk into his true life. On the basketball court, some names stand for invincibility, while his stands for the toughness to rebuild a profound soul from a broken body. His life is a slow, gentle melody, starting with earth-shattering brilliance, passing through mud and wounds, and ending with one of the most healing odes to life. His signature restrained expression never faded, even after being traded by his beloved hometown team and mocked as a withered rose. It was the calm of someone who has seen through fate. Now close your eyes, and through this gentle narration, touch the soul that settled and shone bright amid endless pain. The starting line of his life was drawn in the slums of South Chicago, yet Derrick Rose always ran faster than poverty and violence. He grew up amid gunshots and the thud of bouncing basketballs. That land taught him to stay silent, but never to bow to fate. In 2011, wearing the Red Bulls jersey, like a lightning bolt cutting through the night, he became the youngest regular season MVP in NBA history. Back then, he had nothing to hide. He soared above the rim, thrived in physical confrontation, and believed the world would always be on his side. Yet fate often cracks open when one is at the height of success. That devastating knee injury became a vicious curse, stripping away all the gifts once given to him. In the following 3 years, he underwent 4 major surgeries, and every comeback was met with louder boos and harsh criticism. From a high-flying athlete who could tower over everyone, he turned into a player too afraid to jump freely. The gap was harder to bear than defeat. The media questioned his retirement, teams weighed his contract value, and he once locked himself in a dark room, asking fate over and over, "Why me?" The loneliness of being abandoned by the era cut deep like Chicago's winter wind, letting him realize for the first time that the title of Golden Child was fragile and breakable. If wandering was his destiny, being traded by his beloved Chicago Bulls in 2016 became the coldest winter of his life. The moment he received the trade call in the locker room still moves countless people. The former king broke down in tears like a helpless child. He lost his home arena, his sense of belonging, and the title of Son of Chicago, drifting between the Knicks, Cavaliers, and Jazz. In Cleveland, overwhelmed by chronic pain and physical damage, he once considered retiring, staring at his scarred knees alone on countless lonely nights. He never complained about cruel injuries or displayed his suffering to the public. After repeated trades and marginalization, he still practiced silently in empty arenas like a traveler weathering endless storms. He guarded his last passion even when his dreams nearly sank, and basketball became his final spiritual harbor. What others saw as stubbornness was his last dignity as a professional player. He kept a disciplined routine, polished every technical detail, and waited quietly for a slim chance, simply to prove he still loved the game and could still run. Just as his life was fading into darkness, his former mentor reached out to him, and the Minnesota Timberwolves became the soil where this broken rose bloomed again. He let go of past glory and pride, starting anew as a reserve player and cherishing every minute on the court. On October 31, 2018, Halloween night in Minneapolis, an ordinary regular season game wrote the most stunning redemption story in basketball history. With key players sidelined, the long-forgotten veteran was thrust into the starting lineup against the powerful Utah Jazz. No longer relying on reckless athleticism, he relied on steady floaters, sharp drives and consistent three-pointers. Releasing 7 years of grievance and regret in one night, when the final buzzer sounded, he scored a career-high 50 points, shocking social media and the entire basketball world. He stood alone at center court, covering his head with a towel and weeping freely. It was not the joy of a championship, but ultimate reconciliation with his broken past and imperfect self. Choking back tears at the press conference, he said softly, "I just kept working hard. I never wanted to give up." Those words crushed all mockery and prejudice, easing the tension of thousands of painful days and nights. From then on, the gloom in his eyes faded, replaced by gentleness, clarity, and peace. After that legendary comeback, perseverance and rebirth became the brand new mark engraved on his name. In 2024, he officially announced his retirement. The basketball world felt no excessive sorrow, only respectful relief. His retirement statement contained no list of achievements, no complaints over injury-induced regrets, only a gentle and calm smile. Throughout his years of healing and wandering, he never resented fate, nor boasted about the hardships of his comeback, shaking hands peacefully and treating every opponent with kindness after every game. In his final seasons across multiple teams, he willingly guided young players, using his own struggles and growth to teach others how to face setbacks. He finally understood that Chicago's bitter winters, the loneliness of rehabilitation rooms, and the pain of wandering were all necessary steps toward a perfect farewell. He was no longer a superstar adored by millions, but an ordinary man who accepted his flaws and lived gently with suffering. In his letter to basketball, he wrote tenderly, "Thank you, basketball, for everything you have given me." At that moment, he was no longer a tragic fallen talent, but a winner who overcame hardships and defeated his inner self. He proved throughout his life that a strong soul never relies solely on natural talent. Even with a scarred body, one can still reach the distant shore of inner freedom. In his later years, he stepped away from the chaos of professional basketball. He watched his children play at sunrise and wandered peacefully at sunset, settling into a quiet life. He remained quiet and reserved, yet soft and sensitive at heart, holding the warmest affection for his family. His life journey was a gentle transformation from supreme peak to peaceful completion. He once asked himself countless times, without injuries, would my life have been smooth and perfect? But through all hardships, he learned that regret, brokenness and suffering are the deepest essence of life. He fought for the version of himself everyone thought was finished, and lived for every ordinary person trapped in darkness and struggling to move forward. The doubts left in his youthful prime were gently answered by 10 years of ups and downs. The withering of a rose is never an end, but a calmer new beginning after precipitation. His story is profound, restrained and warm, beginning with magnificent youth and ending with tranquil peace. The night deepens, the wind calms down, and distant lights flicker, just like the unforgettable red silhouette he left in basketball history. Let go of distractions and fall into deep sleep with this peaceful story. May you also gain such perseverance for the rest of your days, fear no lows or hardships, and walk through life with calmness. Good night, in this quiet, gentle, and powerful night.